So I want you to picture being on the elitist list of athletes inside the world, right? Being the person that will take first, second, or third, a gold medal, silver, or even a bronze in a competition that's done every 4 years, which we call the Olympics. And the best part about this, and I talked about it in the last podcast, if you haven't been on site, make sure you go check it out, and maybe put a link up there, is that we're talking about mental health now. Where we're talking about how the mind and the body have such a better connection when it's straighter, right? And there's these things in gymnastics, and of course, I'm going to talk about Simone Biles, right? Because she is probably the best thing that ever happened, especially right now, not only for gymnastics alone, but for people out there that have a lot of pressure underneath their belt. And there's no bigger pressure than what she has. There's none. Representing your country every 4 years to do your best for a perfect score for something that's merely impossible to do, and practice it over and over and over and over again for a perfect landing, a perfect flip without killing herself. That's fucking amazing. And if you don't agree, well, then you should sign up. But if you do agree, you should subscribe, because we're going to talk about this mental health and how her mind works inside these emotions. Not only that, but what she's doing for what it is I talk about. Right, I talk about mental health. I talk about what goes through my mind. I talk about, but this is crazy to understand. 4 years ago, she dropped out. If you guys don't know the story, she dropped out 4 years ago because she had these things called the twisties. I forget what it was called. I think it's the twisties or the floaties. I'll find out what it is and put it up there really fast. But pretty much it's a lapse in your mind. Your brain is not connecting to your body for some apparent reason. Right? It's just not working. So for you to do something of the nature that she does, it's going to be not that great of an ending. You're taking a big gamble, a big chance of you flipping in the air, doing a double tuck, triple duck, quadruple duck, or tuck, with the chances of dropping on your head. And that could be really detrimental. So that's the reason she had those twisties, I believe it's called, and she pulled out because she just knew her mind wasn't right. She knows when she's practicing over and over and over again for 4 years, she knows what it feels like to almost have it. And for some reason, she just didn't feel it. And she dropped out. She got a lot of shit for that. We had a lot of stuff. That was 4 years ago. A lot of fucking people being nasty, mean, calling her, a P word, calling her not tough, not strong. Then she comes back this year and shows everyone the fuck up. Amazing display of gymnastics. Amazing display of mental strength, physical strength, and an amazing attitude. I'm a big fan of her. Right, I was a big fan of her when she was what she did, but even more so now because she broke the stigma. She's helping break that stigma of like it's not okay to be weak in your mind. It's not okay to be a P word. No. Sometimes you can't even fake being strong, right? In that position of something that's very common inside their sport, the twisties, hopefully I get this right, she can't win. Now, if it was like, I don't know, a high school competition, yeah, man, I'm out of there, but to make a decision in the Olympics to pull out because of something she knows may hurt her somewhere down the line in the long run, and one false move, kind of a smart one. Right, because she knew she wasn't fully there. She knew she wasn't mentally strong. Her brain just wasn't working. It wasn't connecting to the body, and it just happens. And if you're not an athlete, you kind of don't know what the fuck that means. But we all been there if you've been an athlete. Sometimes the brain you want it to do one thing and it just doesn't. I always say when you lift and you do Ollie, right, Olympic lifting, which is also in the Olympics, and you're burnt out, overtrained, didn't sleep, and you're trying to hit something really big, the slightest move, the slightest delay, the slightest timing, it's not going. It's not going to go. And then you hate yourself for the rest of your life because you didn't PR, you didn't hit your 80%, you didn't hit nothing because you're just a little off. That maybe if you were just like her, maybe, and this is not even on an Olympic level, this is just like your garage level. Maybe you just took off, call it for a day, you'd be all right. But no, we got to push through shit, Simone Biles, one of the most decorated gymnasts in history, openly discussed her struggles with mental health during the Tokyo 2020 Olympics by choosing to prioritize her mental health and mental well-being over the competition. She challenged a long-standing stigma that athletes must always push through adversity, even at the expense of their mental health. Biles' decision to step back from the events in the Olympics due to mental health concerns sparked global controversy. about the importance of mental health well-being, not just for athletes, but for everyone. Her openness has encouraged others to speak up about their own struggles, contributing to a broader cultural shift towards accepting and discussing mental health issues. Huge. You know what's fucking funny about this whole statement here, normalizing and the breaking of the stigma, is that we didn't even talk about it back then. It was just mentioned, and for the most part, it wasn't mentioned in a good way. I remember people talking a lot of shit, especially coaches, especially ESPN, where she should have gutted it out. She's an athlete. She's a pro athlete. No. If she did it this year, no one said shit this year because of what she did 4 years ago. Working through stuff, getting through it, getting it done. I find her mentally strong. I find her the strongest person ever right now because she did what she thought was the best for her. But not only that, just to stand up and say that, hey, we're fucking human beings, and sometimes shit just don't feel right. And right now, it don't feel right. I'm gonna wait 4 years for a potential chance of doing it again. And she did it. And she succeeded. And she's on Netflix. So I think that's why more people do it anyway. Empowering the future generation. She's empowering the future by using her platform to advocate for mental health. Biles is inspiring younger athletes and individuals to understand that it's okay to ask for help. Her message resonates with young people, encouraging them to prioritize mental health without the fear of judgment. This is where it's the strongest. It's the impact on this world. It's planting the seed for the younger kids that may be moving up and, hopefully, potentially competing for their country, holding their flag up, listening to the national anthem while the first place gold medal flag is being raised for them, that they don't have to push through shit, that they don't have to go. Let me rephrase that because I don't want to be wrong here. You have to push through shit, right? We have to be strong. It doesn't mean when it's tough that we quit. It's not that when it's tough that we stop. I'm sure every day she goes through tough things, hard things that we can't even understand. But there's that point when you just know that something's wrong, that something doesn't feel right. That's where we have to question whether this is worth pushing or not. And that's why asking for help or talking to people or going to see a therapist will help you make that decision. Because a lot of times we can, as an athlete or someone that's competitive, will always try to push through something, right? We always try to push. That's what makes you elite. That's what makes you better than the rest. But there's a point. There's a point where things just don't feel right. And that intuition of knowing so, just like she did, is what I'm glad she's teaching the younger generation, the younger kids. Because a lot of us are still stuck in that old school mentality. Trust me, I know. A lot of my friends still are. I watch their kids. I feel bad for them. Honestly, you motherfuckers are in trouble. All you motherfuckers think that your kid's going to be a pro baseball player, pro soccer player, pro football player. Motherfucker's 5 years old. Chill out, dude. They don't need strength conditioning classes. They don't need fucking hand dribbling skill drills, coach. They don't need it. They're fucking 5. What's the point of doing that? Just let them have fun. I'll tell you right now, I watch it. I think they even said it in, what study was it? It's I don't remember. It's the professionalizing of youth sports. I forget where I saw the study. If I see the study, I'll pull it up to the next podcast. And if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe so you guys can get reamped on that one. But I want to say it's professionalizing youth sports, and that's like the issue of parents doing way too much because they think their kid's the next whoever. I was gonna say Babe Ruth, but that's how old I am. But it doesn't even matter because they're supposed to be having fun. And a lot of times, and I've seen it when coaching wrestling, when there's a kid that starts young and there's a lot of pressure with them, they do really good in the beginning. Sure, some of them may do great, but most of them drop off. Most of them quit. Most of them hate their fucking parents. So before we take this too much, first off, I don't want to get too drawn off this, but I'm really happy that she's helping the younger generations. But at the same time, also showing them what it's like to be an elite athlete.